It's legal to win in overtime? Now, I don't want to alarm anyone. Is your DeBrincat making too much noise all the time?
I haven't really prepared for this.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hawks Recap, a Super Sunday edition of Hawks Recap. My name is Clay. Thank you for tuning in. The Blackhawks have completed their 13th game of their 56-game schedule. Earlier today, prior to the kickoff of the superb Owl, I am currently filming during halftime/second half of said game. I had to step away. It was kind of giving me flashbacks to an NFC Championship game. Hope you understand. But enough talk about that game. Let's talk about the real game this Sunday. That is the Blackhawks game where they got the victory over the Dallas Stars. Not in regulation this time. The Hawks found a way to win in overtime. This opens up a world of possibilities. Can you imagine before the season thinking that this team, this Blackhawks team, no Corey Crawford, no Jonathan Taves, no Kirby Doc, no Brandon Saad, bunch of young guys, bunch of rookies, getting back-to-back victories over the Carolina Hurricanes and the Stanley Cup appearing Dallas Stars? I mean, this is the world of possibilities that have opened up thanks to knowing how to win in overtime. You know what's also maybe beyond that door? Playoffs. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs. I mean, we are tied for second place in the division right now, based on points. Don't look at games played or points percentage. Points. We are in a playoff spot right now. 13 games in. This ain't 1 or 2 games in. This is 13 games in. We're basically almost a quarter of the way through the season. This is the grass that's greener on the other side. Well, Kevin Lankinen's a great story. He's really balled out this season, and you guys are lucky to have him, to be able to rely on him. Well, guess what? He wasn't in this game. No, the Blackhawks got to rely on Malcolm Subban in net. And he played great. I mean, he did have that one big mistake. It was a soft goal to give up. He got to catch that puck, you know. But, like, you can't really blame him all too much because he only gave up that one goal in this game. And you can't really ask much more from a goalie if they only give up one goal. Like, just provide him some run support and you're going to win the game. And thankfully, the Hawks did. I mean, it took a little bit longer than probably should have needed, but they got it done. This was a great game from the Hawks. Like, they played a complete game. And what I mean by that is they didn't have a letdown. It's not like they came out in the first, played great, then had an atrocious second period, then got better in the third, and then found a way to win in overtime. No, they played well in the first, they played well in the second, they played well in the third, and they played well in overtime. They did not have a letdown, and they needed that kind of performance, especially against a team like the Dallas Stars, who are a very good team. And speaking of very good, the Dallas Stars had the best power play in this league. I know it's hard to imagine after, seeing our power play. Like, how are we not the best? But yeah, Dallas Stars, their power play has been just as on fire and even more. But our PK went 3 for 3 in this game. We shut him down. That was big. That was huge. And then you add to that, our power play converted. 1 for 4. I know it doesn't sound great, but that can be the difference in a game. And it certainly could argue was the difference in the game. Hawks don't get that power play goal. Dallas wins in regulation. That power play goal sends this to overtime, and we win in overtime. But let's back it up to the first period. Blackhawks came out of the gates well. They controlled puck, controlled possession early in this game. Defensively did a good job keeping Dallas to the outside, not really giving them any real high danger chances. Both goaltenders played well in the first period. Both teams had some opportunities on the power play. Neither team would convert in that first period. And so we would go into the second period tied at 0. And honestly, if you would say that was the case prior to this game, I would have taken that 10 out of 10 times. Now, the Blackhawks did commit a penalty with 2 seconds left in that first period, so the Stars would start the second period on the power play. And we've seen in previous games this season, the Blackhawks give up some really early second period goals, which you always hate to give up. And this was a prime opportunity for that to happen again. And this was a golden opportunity for the Stars to kind of grab some momentum in this game. But as I mentioned, the Blackhawks PK unit came up large in this game, and no goals were given up early in the second. The second period would once again be a pretty even period between both teams. The Stars would end up outshooting the Hawks 13-10, but it was not the Stars who scored the lone goal. That, my friends, belongs to Mr. Alex Redemption Arc DeBrincat. With about 7.5 minutes left to go in the second period, Blackhawks on the power play. Patrick Kane with the puck, fakes a shot, gets it down low to Dylan Strome, who then throws a cross-crease pass to Alex DeBrincat. One-timer, wide open nets. And this ain't last year, folks. This is this year. DeBrincat's burying that, and he does. Hawks take a 1-0 lead, and that's how this game would go into the third period. Now, the Blackhawks would once again play well in the third period. They would outshoot Dallas 11-7. They even had a shift, or 2 shifts, or, well, kind of almost 3 shifts. They had a period of time, let's just say that, where the Hawks had the puck in the offensive zone, and they just kept having it in the offensive zone, cycling, getting shots on net, retrieving the puck, winning board battles, just keeping the puck in, and they changed players, not once, but twice, made full line changes, keeping the puck in. Like, that was an incredible couple shifts right there. But unfortunately, the Hawks didn't score another goal in that third period. They had a chance. Patrick Kane was all alone and just needed to lift the puck. He had a glorious opportunity. Fortunately, Jake Ottinger, or the Otter, as I like to call him, made the stop. And unfortunately, it was actually Dallas that got the lone goal. With a little help from Subban, about 10.5 minutes left to go in the game. Stars throw a puck on net. Subban tries to catch it. He doesn't. Did he play baseball growing up or not? I don't know. But he didn't catch it. It bounced off Robertson right in front of him, and then the puck just kind of trickled on by him and into the net. It counts the same as a pretty goal, but it's a tough one to give up. And like I said, yeah, it's a soft goal to give up. You got to catch that puck. But you can't really blame Subban all that much, considering that was literally the only goal he gave up in this game. But at the time, especially since it tied the game up, that was a tough one. But neither team would score after that in regulation. And so we'd head into overtime, where the Blackhawks have found themselves having a lot of trouble this year. They had yet to win in overtime or a shootout. It was not looking good for the Hawks. Now, the Blackhawks played well in the first period. They played well in the second period. They played well in the third period. And they weren't about to not play well in that overtime period. Now, both teams would have some good looks in overtime. Both goaltenders made some good saves. But the Blackhawks ultimately were the ones that would break through. 3 minutes into overtime, Alex DeBrincat gets it to Patrick Kane coming into the zone, who gives it right back to Alex DeBrincat, who is charging the net. Nice little give-and-go play. And all Alex has to do is just redirect it. Top shelf over Otter. And he does. Blackhawks get the 2-1 victory, grab that second point in overtime, all thanks to Alex DeBrincat's second goal of the game. He's been absolutely on fire since coming back from the COVID list. I think it's 6 points in 3 games. It's insane. Now, the first 3 games for the Hawks this season, not very good. Not very good at all. Pretty ugly. But the last 10 has been pretty good. Hawks have gone 5-1-4 in that 10-game stretch. That's just 1 regulation loss. It's pretty good. For this team, these Hawks, I'll take that. I'll take that every single time. Now we get to see if the Hawks can continue this run of play in their next game as they play the Dallas Stars once again to finish off their little 2-game road trip to Dallas. Will the Dallas Stars maybe make some adjustments? Maybe they took this team too lightly, right? Maybe. Or maybe this Hawks team is for real. But no, couldn't be. No, not these Hawks. Not these Hawks. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching this episode of Hawks Recap. Also, thank you to all of you who tuned in, even for a little bit, during my live stream for this game. Really appreciated it. Loved hanging out and chatting with all of you. We'll do it again sometime. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that as always. But most importantly, stay safe, make good decisions, and I'll see you next time.